All right, here we go. Get ready to have a good time. This is exciting, isn't it?
All right, we're on. Hello, testing.
Welcome aboard the Dreamliner.
It's the only way to fly.
I've allotted 1 hour for recreational activity. There's no time for irrelevant conversation. Fun will now commence.
Gary.
Here's a young speaker who is really in demand.
Don't let that go to your head, Gary.
But wait, there's more.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's Gary Myers.
Hello, GarrForce. It's the September 16th, 2022 edition of the Gary Myers Show Cocktail Hour Live.
Cocktails, woo, drinks.
As usual, the GarrForce's wheels up at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central, 4 Mountain, 3 Pacific, and 2 Alaskan. And that's especially relevant to me now because, you see, I just returned from a great adventure to the last frontier. Since I was last at the controls of the GarrForce Live, I went wheels up in the Eastern Time Zone for a long overdue vacation. First I headed up to Chicago in the Central Time Zone. Then I traveled up to Vancouver, British Columbia in the Pacific, where I set sail aboard the Disney Wonder up into Alaska. You're somehow surprised I took another Disney vacation, huh? The cruise took me up to the Sawyer Glaciers, and then all the way up to Skagway, and for a few moments, Canada's Yukon Territory by rail, the furthest north on the planet I've ever been. Then we cruised to Juneau, Alaska's capital, and the nearby Mendenhall Glacier, with some whale watching. Then Ketchikan for an expedition to Misty Fjord on an extremely rare cloudless day. Then back to Vancouver for the journey home that required a connecting flight in Denver. That's right, Mountain Time. I'd be playing Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is by Chicago right now if the show could afford it. Of course, no matter where you are, it's time for a digital mimosa. While traveling, I even caught parts of the live shows on our preferred streaming platform, the GarrForce Live YouTube channel. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when we're live. Catch up on past shows there too. Like and share the show on all of the social media channels. During the live show, we can even see your comments on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, which means we may show them on the screen and or talk about them. Well, the cabin door is now closed, and we're getting ready to push back from the gate. So fasten your seatbelts, it's time to go wheels up on the GarrForce Live!
Live. Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada, blah. Boom. Shakalaka. Hey now, it is, yes, the cocktail show as advertised, and we have to do a few things here to get the wheels up. I have to kick the tires and light them up. There they are, let's light them up. And okay, Alan was on, as we saw, on vacation, and I asked him if he gets a discount on these Disney adventures. He said no, so I'm hoping, Alan, you get to at least write off this. Whatever all that was. Can you write any of that off? You're a lawyer.
I was going to say against my massive GarrForce income, sure.
Wow, roasted. And we aren't a minute or two into the show. Roasted. Damn. Okay. I need a drink, and that's the purpose of this show. Welcome, everybody. And Leslie, why don't you come up and remove that condom so we can officially do this?
It would be my pleasure because I'm getting thirsty over here, and I've got quite a bit of buildup here. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
So here we go, kids.
Roll that thing and get going. Ooh, oh, over the shoulder.
Oh, wow. Yay. Cheers,
I love
everybody.
when you do the trick shots. What kind of wine is that?
I'm getting all Annie Oakley on you over the shoulder. It's a decoy Chardonnay, and it's very tasty.
Nice.
Something a little special because it's Friday, and
yeah,
they're special.
And you have mentioned often that when you join the program, there's a chance you could win one of those condoms you just popped at the end of the program. And that remains in effect today.
This one right here. Yep. And something from the
else.
fun bag.
Yep. Go pull something out of there very quickly.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
A lot of stuff. It's chock full. Let's get the official comment from KA of the cocktail show this week. Just in time for fall, pumpkin spice schnauzer. Yes, that's why you come here. It's the home of the kissing schnauzers. That's why you come here. And because I have a screen door where I can say hello to people. I got Johnny from Michigan. He's saying a special hello to you, Leslie.
Oh, hello, Johnny.
Scott, Cindy won a wine condom. She's happy with it. Chris from Gilbert, Arizona. There are at least 3 people that have checked in from Arizona. Represent Arizona. I see we have Mac from Queen Creek, Arizona. And because it's Queen Creek, did you hear what they did? All the drive-thrus in Queen Creek had a 4-mile line.
Oh, really?
In honor
Do they have
of,
to?
Yeah.
Do they have to change the name to Kings Creek now?
Yes, that will happen Monday after they bury Elizabeth. But this particular week, they're doing very long lines at the drive-through, just like the lines in England to see the Queen's box.
And with that, very, very polite in terms of their queuing. I guess queuing is quite a thing in England, and they know how to do it well. And there are no cutsies, and there's no fist fighting or nothing, because this is a solemn experience for one and all. Yeah.
And one other Arizona, at least one other, Christine from Peoria, Arizona, has checked in. She says her terrier looks like a schnauzer. Okay, we'll buy that. And
if
Donna,
you squint, a lot of things look like schnauzers.
Okay. And Mary, Leslie is the bestest. Yes, she is.
Thank you.
Doug, Ringo, Smith. When is the mayor of Jerusalem? God, I love you so much, ladies and gentlemen, because you remember all this great stuff from my history. And that is a reference. Oh, geez. Let me fill in the blanks here. Or is it just one blank? We worked with a guy who was very smart. He had a radio show in the evening on the station we were on. Milt Rosenberg was his name. And he would do interviews of people that I wouldn't even know where to start. And one night I heard him say, and coming up later in the program, the mayor of Jerusalem will be on. And I'm thinking, that's so perfect. And then we became friends, and I loved Milt. And sadly, he has passed away, but what a great guy. And I was on his show. This guy was in his 90s doing this radio show, no notes, nothing. And this thing just rolled. He had the rhythm down. And I have got notes, and I can't remember half the stuff he was remembering. He was much older than I was. And I'm like, wow.
You know, it harkens back to the Peloponnesian Wars, and specifically the interaction between Daedalus and blah blah guy. Good golly, man!
And now I dash onto the phones and talk to the mayor of Jerusalem, Teddy Kollek. Okay.
By the way, I've been in touch though with his son, Matt Rosenberg, who has become quite the journalist in his own right, and he likes to talk about the dysfunction of the city of Chicago. So it looks like he's going to have plenty of stuff to talk about for a while to come.
I had him on several months ago to talk about the book that he wrote on that. Yes. Hey, go ahead, mock me about the water cannons, and then you'll say later, should have listened to him. Finger gun. And this is the only gun I have, but in Chicago, they got the real ones. They don't have the finger ones. Okay. Speaking of Chicago,
I guess there were some shenanigans in the South Loop last night. Some donuts and some dancing on buses and all the usual shenanigans that we've learned.
Go ahead. Don't invest in a water cannon and see where it gets you. Hey, here's a reason to drink. If you're in the central time zone, the sun is setting before 7 o'clock today. Yeah. So start drinking.
Can I get a straw? Yeah.
I know. Hey, Mark is in Iowa. Mark and Sue are in Iowa. Hello, Iowa, the nation's heartland. And There they are.
We had some California representation earlier, and
Yes.
I love when
And
people
I
call
saw
from all
Martin
over.
from British Columbia on the list, and that's of course where I sailed from to go up to Alaska.
Of course it is.
Of course.
You say
Hey,
of course because
we-
we would know that. Of
Oh,
course you
sure.
sail
We
from
saw it
British
in the
Columbia.
open.
If you
Yeah.
paid attention to the opening, you'd
I
know.
know.
You know, Gary, I can see you during the opening, right?
I know. Okay, I'm just, I'm doing that to lead into this, Alan, because you know how I call people on when they say obviously when it's not obvious and literally, and we've got Loyster who said, "I'm obviously literally here right now," and people are using all the stuff. I like that. Like it a lot. All right, Gigi, and who did you hit? Gary? What does that mean? Okay.
Who did you hit?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
All right. I want to thank somebody. Leslie, you had a story this week about a Mickey Mantle baseball card that was auctioned off for $12.5 million. I went into a story about when I was a kid, Mickey Mantle was God, and it was a really hard baseball card to get. And one day my father came home and said, "Hey, come down to my dry cleaning truck. I want to show you something." And I'd often go on deliveries with him. So it was one of those, oh, okay, maybe we're going to go on a delivery. So we're down in the truck and he pulls the visor down on the driver's side. And there was a Mickey Mantle card that he got for me. And I was, oh my God. Oh my, one of those moments that you would never forget. Okay. I might tear
Did
up
it
right
make
here.
up for the go-kart?
Never
Not
got
quite,
the go-kart, but you can't have
but,
everything.
okay.
We had 6
Right.
kids. I'm not going to be getting a go-kart out of nowhere because we got a lot of kids here. Jeffrey Lem, get this. Jeffrey sent me a reprint of the Mickey Mantle baseball card.
Aw, that's cool.
And when I opened it, I got all verklempt again because I remember those moments where it was so impactful. You thought, oh my God, this is what life is all about. These good moments. And Jeffrey, thank you. That was really, and I got it on my desk now. It's going to stay right on my desk, and great memories right there. That is what I love about y'all. You really do things that make me tear up. Okay. And that's not the booze talking. Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Oh no.
No. Before I do,
be like air hugs later on.
Yeah.
And I love
hey, man,
you. You're all so
man.
beautiful. Yeah. You just wait.
Before I get too hattened up, maybe I already am. And this is why I want to go to Mr. Hochberg right now, because I want to make sense when I talk to this lovely man. And I'm going to say this to you, David. Like I said to Don Knotts, aka Barney Fife, loosen your pants because I'm going to make you feel good for the next few minutes. I said that to Don Knotts. Had him on the show. I said, Don, loosen your pants. I got work to do here because of all the pleasure you've given me and the support you've given me, David, and just being an incredible friend. I can't thank you enough. And last week I had Mike Mascow on from Roast to Order Coffee and Tea, and he alluded to you raising money to get vests, bulletproof vests for Chicago police. And I said, that would be like selling a car and saying the steering wheel is extra. That should just be part of the uniform, but it is not, sir. Let's start with that, and then we'll talk reverse mortgages.
Yeah, I teamed up with 19th Ward Alderman Matt O'Shea about 4 years ago. I had my show at LS, and he came in. He was on with Big John and Ray in the morning. I ran into him in the green room or something, and he made a comment about how he was raising money for the, he came on to talk about his pancake breakfast, which he does every year, and they raise tens of thousands of dollars to help the Chicago Police Memorial Foundation buy bulletproof vests. So I struck up a relationship with Matt. I'm like, hey, I've got a show here on Saturdays. It's not as big of an audience as these guys. He's like, sure, I'll come down. And we just got to know each other. I started donating money to it, bringing awareness to it. And I told him, I said, hey, man, we should really do like a live remote from his ward in order to really blow this thing up. Sure, we were all into it. Then COVID hit. And then we brought it back up in October of 2021. They said, hey, this COVID thing seems to be clearing. We're about 5 months away from February, when the pancake breakfast is. let's do the live remote. And then GN wouldn't do any live remotes because of COVID. So we launched a Vestathon, and it was probably the most rewarding radio show we did. We raised $250,000. We had a huge donation from Walsh Construction and Local 150, the guys and gals at Local 150, heavy operators. And we raised $250,000, Gary. So, and most importantly, we brought awareness to the fact that the men and women in the Chicago Police Department have to buy their own bulletproof vests every 5 years. Which
Okay,
is just
stop right there.
backwards.
You were talking in Italian there. Let me fill in some of the Italian. WLS is the radio station you're referring to. WGN in Chicago. These are Chicago radio stations for those people around the country.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. Because you and we're always talking local Chicago radio because we did a lot of radio together in Chicago. John Howell does afternoons on WLS, and Ramblin' Ray, the other man you referred to, he's dating my cousin. We're kin.
Right.
Yeah. So
living with your cousin.
Dating and living.
Gina.
They have dates, I guess. So they separate them out as dating and living together. Okay. And they're good guys, and they've been helping you. And then Mike Mascow is doing something too.
Yeah. So I ran into Mike, and I said, hey, how can I bring awareness? What can we do? He's got a local roasting company here in Chicago, and I always love supporting local Chicago, especially family-owned businesses. So I ran into him, and I turns out that we refinanced him a year ago during the refinance boom. And he's like, hey, I got this coffee company, can we do anything? And I ran into him at another event and said, hey, what can we do to bring awareness and raise funds? He's like, I'll tell you what, if you want to do something, I'll donate a portion of every bag or order that you send your listeners to. We'll donate it towards a Vestathon. I'm like, perfect, right? So he sent me some coffee, which is delicious coffee, by the way. It's absolutely phenomenal. He sent me down some of those K-pods that go into the Keurig machines. And we started drinking it on air and talking about how great it is and how wonderful the coffee is. And our listeners are starting to place orders. And every order that our listeners place, you go to roast to order. I wasn't prepared.
Roast-to-order.shop. It's on the screen there, yeah.
Roast-to-order.shop. Thank you, Alan. That's great. And just click on Vestathon. And every time an order comes through from that GarrForce listener that puts in a repeat order, a small portion of a donation goes towards, he's going to accumulate it for the Vestathon. Last year, like I said, we raised a lot of awareness and $250,000. This year, our goal is $500,000. Each police vest, replacement vest costs $500 to $600. And then the ballistic vests for the SWAT team, we got a lot of crap going on in Chicago. We got to take care of the SWAT team. Those cost, the high ballistic vests cost $200 to $2,500. So that's where we're at. It's very rewarding. I get, every time I see a cop, I thank them for their service, and they know who I am because they run the plate and they thank me for what I do on air. And listen, Chicago police officers have been getting shit on for years. And it's worse now that Kim Fox, that ridiculous bitch, is running things.
Wow.
And letting everybody up.
Hit the delay.
She's horrible.
Hit the delay.
She's horrible.
Okay, explain something to me, Lucy.
Yeah.
Why do they have to buy their own vest? Do they get a vest for free when they join the force, and then every 5 years they just wear out and they have to buy their own after that?
Yeah. So I learned all about police vests, obviously. I had a police vest. I had the manufacturer of the police vest manufacturing company come on the show and explain why they have to replace them every 5 years. Well, the bulletproof vest is made of some type of material that after 5 years, due to the heat of the summer, right? The police officers are always wearing them now, right? Whenever you see a police officer, if they're a patrol officer, they've got their blue one on. If they're a white shirt, they've got their white one on. It gets hot in the summertime, it gets cold in the wintertime. And due to body temperatures and just breaking down the material every 5 years, the bulletproof material breaks down, and they recommend that it gets replaced every 5 years. every police chief that I'm friends with in the suburbs, and I'm friends with a ton of police chiefs. I do a lot with the ILACP, the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police, and every single one of the suburban and county cops and state cops gets a replacement vest every single 5 years. Every 5-year period of time, they get a new vest. It's part of the protocol. In the city of Chicago, they get an $1,800 stipend for uniforms. Now, you might think that's a lot of money, but after taxes, it comes out to like $1,200, $1,300. Now, with that $1,200, $1,300 every single year, they've got to buy boots. You know, if you're a patrol officer, ask any patrolman or woman, they'll tell you need 3 pairs of good shoes, right? Especially in the wintertime. If you got a shitty Chicago day out there and it's slushy and it's cold and it's rainy and it's 30 degrees, your feet's going to get wet. Your boots are going to get wet. It's going to take 24 to 36 hours to dry your boots, right? You're not going to put on a wet pair of boots, go back out and patrol in. So it covers all their trousers and their shirts and their blouses and their rain gear and winter gear and hats and gloves, their guns and ammunition. So everything in that $1,200 after taxes has to go to cover everything that a police officer wears every single day to protect us when we step foot in the 606 zip code, which is the city of Chicago. The suburban guys and gals also have a uniform stipend, but they also get their police vests for free. So, which is the way it should be, right? It's an occupational hazard, and it should be covered under the code of being a police officer, right? You know, firefighters, love my firefighters and EMT as well, right? Firefighters aren't out there buying their own fire retardant jackets and their bunker pants, right? And their boots. All that stuff is supplied by the municipalities that they work for. And I just figured, let's help the cops out, raise awareness of this stupid rule and ridiculous rule. And, you know, we raise money for the Chicago Police Memorial Foundation, which is an unbelievable organization that takes care of families of fallen police officers that died during the line of duty. Anything from buying their kids school supplies to making sure they have a tuxedo or a dress for a high school dance, help them with college, help them with private school, help them with other things that the family might need during the school year, clothes, shoes, whatever. Chicago Police Memorial Foundation is there for the families of fallen police officers. So
is this something that's true around the country? Do you know if a lot of major cities have the same policy?
I don't know. All I know is that Chicago has this ridiculous policy. All the surrounding suburban, county, and state do not have that same ridiculous policy. All the surrounding counties and states and townships and towns that I'm friends with the chiefs. Like I said, I do a lot of loans for police officers. They cover that expense for their officers. So it's part of the everyday wardrobe to keep your officer safe, to replace the bulletproof vest every 5 years.
All right. Where should people go to, besides roasttoorder.shop? Is there another way to go, or should we just go with the roast to order?
Well, we teamed up with Zanies in Schaumburg. Go to schaumburg.zanies.com on October 5th. We're starting early this year to hit our $500,000 goal, where we're bringing in all of these different ancillary ways to make money, like selling the coffee and hooking up with Mike and his great organization. Zanies gave us the entire Schaumburg comedy show. There's Steve Cochran, John DeCoste, Tim Becker, and Mike Toomey. Great, all funny guys. On October 5th, I think it's 7 o'clock. Tickets are on sale now. 80 to 100% of the door is going to be donated to the Vestathon. So all of these Chicago companies and organizations are reaching out to me, and I'd like to throw it out to your listeners. If you're a company and you'd like to get some type of promotional value, every time I go on the radio on my show on WGN on Saturdays, I'm drinking coffee and promoting Mike's company. Hey, thanks to roast to
order.shop.
Order.shop Thank you, Alan, for the roast-to-order.shop for the great coffee. Go there now. Click on Vestathon, and we're going to be doing that for the next, perpetuity, because it's just an easy way to raise money. So, if there's a restaurant, if there's a business that you want to say, hey, come in and buy a cheeseburger or a chicken sandwich, or just say Vestathon and 5 or 10% or 1%, we'll take anything we got. We'll be set aside and make a donation. For this year's Vestathon. We'd love to have your participation. That would be absolutely wonderful and help us get closer to our $500,000 goal.
All right, let's talk about mortgages. Last time you were on, you said it's in the 3s. If you're going to jump now. What's happened? Where are we now with the rate?
Yeah, I've been preaching on Chicago radio every time the rates have been going up that you got a better shot of hitting the 4s than you do the 3s. And then when they got out of the 4, as we were getting in the 4s, I said, you got a better shot of hitting 5 than hitting 4s. And as we got closer to 6s, I'm like, you got a better shot of hitting 6s than the 5s. We're solidly entrenched in the 6s right now. The January of this year, Gary, we were trading 30-year fixed loans in the 3s. Right now, we're solidly entrenched in the 6s. And I'll make this bold statement because I've been on a roll. We got a better shot of seeing 7% 30-year fixed loans than we do seeing 5% 30-year fixed loans, okay? Inflation is a major challenge. The Fed is going to do everything that the Fed could do to slow down consumer spending, slow down prices. And the only way, the biggest stick that the Fed has to do that is to increase short-term rates. So the short-term rates really don't have anything to do with mortgage rates, and a lot of our listeners out there don't understand. The mortgage rates are tied to the 10-year bond, okay? The 10-year bond at this time last year, without getting too technical, is like 1.3 to 1.6. Today, I think it closed at 3.4, 3.5. So in 1 year, that 10-year note has shot up 2 points, and that started going up in January. The Fed didn't start increasing the short-term Fed fund rates until March. And in March, he only tickled the toes a little bit. He only stuck his pinky toe in the water and only jacked it up a quarter in March. That's like throwing a rock at a battleship. That do squat. And ever since then, he's been playing catch-up, and the Fed presidents have been playing catch-up. And brace for impact, you got another 3/4 of a basis point, at least 3/4 of a basis point pop coming next time the Fed meets, I think next week. So the Fed fund rate, guys, went from 3.25 to 5.5 and ready to go to 6.25 when Fed chair announces what they decided to do. How does this impact your listeners? Fed Chair Powell, I blanked out on the guy's name. So Fed Chair Powell is going to jack the rates up.
Is that your stomach reacting to the 10-year
bond? That's my German Shepherd barking at the guy cutting the grass for the past 45 minutes. Okay. I've been cutting the grass. You think you just saw. Yeah. So what does that mean? Number one, if you have a home equity line of credit, you've been noticing that your minimum payments have been going up. It's going to go up again. If you have credit card debt, your credit card minimum monthly payments is going to be another kick in the teeth. If you're trying to get a car loan or a car lease, your car lease and car loan are going to be becoming more expensive because of finance costs. On the flip side, businesses that are borrowing money to fund their operations now cost the businesses more money to borrow that same dollar, which makes it less profitable for the business. It's crazy that you would think that an economy has to lose jobs, which is what the Fed Chair Powell said. There's going to be bodies on the side of the road. I'm paraphrasing, but he said that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be hurt and get hurt, which means he's going to drive this thing right into the rocks to stop Americans from spending money, to tamp down the inflation. And once that happens, rates will come down. We'll refinance everybody. I'll be able to cancel all my lunches that I've been going on that haven't been going on the past 30 months because I haven't had any time to see straight. I'll be getting up at 4:30 in the morning again to be at the office at 7 like I have been. But right now, it's super slow in the mortgage business, and interest rates are going to 7%.
What about, let's lastly talk about the reverse mortgage that we promoted here. And what is it? How does it work?
It's very simple. A reverse mortgage is a loan. It's a mortgage against your house. It's no different than a forward paying mortgage. Okay. It is a mortgage against your house. If you have a mortgage against your house, a 30-year, 15 and arm, you own the house. The bank and the government doesn't own the house. For some reason, people think that if you go into a reverse mortgage, the government or the bank's going to own your house. That's a bunch of crap. Whoever told you that is wrong. You're getting bad information. A reverse mortgage is a mortgage against your house like any other mortgage. The only difference is you don't have to make the mortgage payment if you don't want to make the mortgage payment or you can't afford to make the mortgage payment. There is a mortgage payment tied to your house every single month. That mortgage payment, if you elect to defer it, gets added to the back of your loan. It gets added to your loan amount. So 30-year, 15-year on ARM, adjustable rate mortgage, and the 15, 20, 30-year amortization, somewhere in the future, you're going to pay that loan off. The reverse mortgage, 100% different. You're adding to it. It gets paid off when you either sell the home, when you move out of it, or when you pass away and your heirs sell the home. Here's the best analogy I could give you. We just went through COVID, and 7 million people entered into forbearance, right? What's forbearance? The opportunity not to make the payment now and to defer it to a future date. 6 million Americans came out of forbearance. 1 million people are still, 1 million homes are still in forbearance, which means somewhere along the line, the track's running out on those homeowners. You can either make the payment or going to have to either move or get foreclosed upon. Not trying to be the cold-hearted son of a bitch on a Friday afternoon, but no, it's just a fact, okay? And the challenge that you have is that it's really not a challenge. It's just an understanding. The reverse mortgage is exactly like a forbearance. You didn't make your mortgage payment for a good 30 months, for 20, 24, 26 months for some of our listeners and viewers right now. There's no difference than that in a reverse mortgage. You are electing to defer the mortgage payments just like you did with a forbearance. You still own the house when you were in forbearance. They didn't come and take your house away. They didn't come and steal the house underneath you. So the reverse mortgages are great because what's happening is our experienced homeowners are living longer and they want to age in place. And the challenge that we have is that the experienced homeowners that own their home just saw an unbelievable run up in the equity of their home during COVID. And the biggest challenge we have is that the Social Security that they're getting in is not enough to cover the expenses, one. And two is they've outlived their retirement assets, and all that they have in the bank is 14 cents and the $1,200 or $1,300 or $1,800 they're getting from Social Security every month. Here's the challenge. They're going to their kids, if they have kids, to help supplement their income, which is great. Challenge is, with inflation, your kids don't have any money. Your kids didn't have any money prior to COVID. They don't have any money now. They were carrying $20,000 to $40,000 on their credit cards, because I see credit reports every day. Those credit card balances have now shot up to $30,000 to $50,000 because everything's more expensive and the interest rates are going up and the minimum monthly payments are killing them. So they don't have the $500 to a G note that they were giving mom and dad every month. Before they didn't have it. They definitely don't have it now. And the other challenge you have is that a lot of the kids of these experienced homeowners have student loans. And that's been a good 30-some month run, but that track is coming to the end, right? That train's come to the end of the track. Come January 1st, you're going to have to start paying those student loans between $500 and $3,000 a month. And where's the money going to come from to take care of mom and dad that are living in a home that is either paid off or has got a mortgage on it that you can eliminate the mortgage payment with the reverse mortgage? So in closing, reverse mortgages are phenomenal products when used effectively in the right situation, when presented to you by a licensed and trained loan officer who actually originates them, not Tom Selleck, who doesn't know his ass between a hole in the ground. Very attractive man.
Hit the delay.
Love Magnum, Magnum PI. I love his acting, but the only thing that Tom Selleck and other actors know about reverse mortgages is what they read off the teleprompter as they're walking around some BS back lot of a fake town, right? They're wonderful products. They're incredibly effective, and it will help cover the $6,000 to $10,000 a month of senior in-home care to take care of your parents or to take care of yourself, because that's what it's costing nowadays, Gary. $6,000 to $8,000 to $12,000 a month to have in-home health care to take care of your parents, to make sure they don't, take their meds, the house is clean, they eat 3 squares a day, they clean up after themselves, they're in bed, they get out of bed, they don't have to walk down to the sidewalk when it's sleet and it's black ice out there and they fall on the driveway and crack their hip or crack their head. That's what this money's there for, to keep you and your loved ones safe with the equity out of the house.
All right, David, thank you for confirming why we drink on Friday.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
You might want to use a straw.
Jesus, I think my bumper sticker, grab your ankles, is going to be moved up on the trunk lid. There are the numbers to deal with this man. He saves you money. He's great. And he's been most supportive of this program and others of mine over the years. David, thank you.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for the opportunity.
David Hochberg.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Ooh. Okay, Leslie. I hope. Yeah. Yeah, really. Really.
Nikes, man.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Oh, golly. You know what? I'm hoping that within the next few years, we end up with our robot caregivers who at least, won't slap us around when we spill, although they might be programmed to do so at that point. But because 8 to 12, what?
Listen, let's just move on. Those are the facts. I know it's a Friday, but David had to give us the goods because last time he said 3%. It's in the threes. Go, 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 go. So you got to listen to these people. I mean, it's not like he's pulling this out of thin air.
Oh, no.
That's what it is.
This is why, though, when I ask Siri for directions, I always say please and thank you.
Yeah.
Because at some point, maybe that's going to have some kind of solution for us here. But let's face it, we all kind of want to stay in our home. If you have a home, I
don't. Okay, let's just go.
Anyway, hey, with that, Christine from Arizona said she recommended a friend to David, and it was a fabulous experience. Also, I wanted to say to Lehman and Doug, you guys rock too.
Okay. So, all right. Reading those comments. Good. I didn't get an answer from you. How long would you stand in line to see the Queen's box?
An hour? Can they just give me one of those little vibrating things and I go, grab a cup of coffee, and then when it vibrates, I'll show up in line?
Oh, those vibrating things. You mean that disc like you get at restaurants?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd want another vibrator
possibly mean
to go behind the well-manicured bushes and take care of some biz.
Just like take some anxiety away. Yeah. No, I'm thinking, how long would you wait, Gary? How long would you
I can't stand in line.
See Her Majesty?
I can't. I mean, really, unless Jesus is handing out donuts, I can't stand in line anymore. There's too much going on.
Well, she's going to stay dead. It's not like this situation is going to change up really fast. So it's strictly one of those situations where, did you go to see the Queen? And I could go, yeah. Yeah, I went to see the Queen. Yeah. She was in
a box.
Coffin. Oh, by the way, some people I saw on social media were getting very upset with the British press calling her box a coffin. It's like, that's so archaic, and only Dracula sleeps in a coffin. And somebody pointed out, no. Royals get buried in a coffin. It's a 6-sided box versus caskets, which are 4-sided boxes. And those Brits are all about the language. So when they call it a casket, it's a freaking casket. It's a coffin. It's a coffin. It's a she's in a coffin.
Right. She's in a box. And that's what you're going to see. She's in a box.
She's going to stay in a box.
Right.
It's lead line from what I've heard. So if there's radiation, she doesn't have to duck and cover. From what I've heard, there is a lead lining to her coffin. And all I can figure is, so if they want to do dental x-rays, she doesn't have to worry about cancer. I don't know why they lead lined it.
Okay, well,
in case somebody wants
she's
to
got,
shoot
I'll bet they, for her, get the nicest box you can get. That box is lead lined. It's nice. It's high lined. It's sweet.
Oh.
And you're just seeing, basically you go to see those guys with the shiny helmets and the fuzz on top and
the funky chin straps that they don't wear under their chins. We talked about this. And I think one of the funniest stories is the Undertaker, who wanted to use this as a marketing opportunity and used one of those magnetic signs on the side of the hearse that said, you know, we're Smith and Wesson, shop with us or whatever, you know, best funeral home ever. And by the time the procession had reached its destination,
it was
somebody
gone.
went, take that thing off right now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's bring on Mr. Ryan Corcoran. He is the Wisconsin reporter. And he also has some, well, I guess it's all Wisconsin because Dieter Sturm, friend of the show, Academy Award winner. And by the way, Alan went to the glaciers and stuff, and I guess they've hired Dieter to make snow because it's all melting.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
So he's going to go up there and just sprinkle all the glaciers with snow. That's what he does. It was his birthday yesterday, so happy belated birthday, Dieter.
Yes, there's the picture we were referring to, the glaciers.
Yeah, and that's what Alan saw from his boat.
Yep. Yeah, that was quite a sight.
Yeah, and I did that Alaskan cruise, and these animals, they're so used to these cruise ships, they basically pose and they do anything you want. You want me to twerk?
One of your French girls.
Yeah. Ooh, Papa, you want that? You want that? I'll do it for you.
Hang on to till the video report. We talk Titanic, so that'll be later. So,
okay. Do you want to show the raccoons? Speaking of,
I have two pictures before that. I'll go in order of just how I keep all tabs on the supermarket. So this was I went in late and the man was pushing the floor and said people are slobs.
Yeah, yes. That's what he just swept up.
That's what he swept up, and then he had to go deal with this in the other aisle.
What the hell happened there?
Spill in aisle 6. I don't know.
Was somebody doing burnouts?
Yeah, they're drifting. They're drifting.
Skateboarding, right?
Yeah. Fast and Furious in aisle 6.
He said, "Look at what I have to deal with here." And I said, "Yeah, I know."
What's that carton on the floor?
I don't know.
Stiggy butts? It looks kind of.
Yeah. What is your policy when you're walking down a grocery store aisle and there's something that's fallen off the shelf? Do you pick it up and put it back up there? I do.
I do, but if it's kind of goo-goo, I just kind of
no, not if there's goo-goo, but almost nobody. And this is where that $1 million scratch-off ticket comes into play. Where the guy dropped it in the parking lot. Nobody picked it up. He goes back. There it is. $1 million sitting there.
Yep. And we'll do Dieter's snow and raccoons here in a second. But I had to throw this in. This is a kind of a inside baseball joke, but it Marina City keeps popping up, and between Gary and I, we pass those back and forth.
Okay, there's something where Ryan keeps seeing. This is these structures are in Chicago. That's where that Walenda guy walked across.
Yes,
and those are pie-shaped apartments. I don't know how you furnish a pie shape because you have no real right angles. It's going into a pie shape here.
Yeah, so I just threw that in just
right. So that's kind of that's our Zelig that always shows up, and he's
Yeah. So here's Dieter's wife preparing for a shoot. I thought it was just pretty cool on Facebook to see this video. Look at that.
Where was this? Do you know?
It didn't say. Probably because he couldn't disclose. But look at that. Just coating the trees. Looks like a winter day.
Yeah. That's what they do. It's just basically Dieter and the missus.
Well, that was that shot. He just posted on Facebook. So this is on Facebook.
Jeez. Flocking the trees, boss.
Yep.
Flocking the trees.
And if you tuned into previous shows, you saw all the raccoons that were coming to Dieter's house. But this is they're bringing the babies now, and this looks like dog food down there. So they're coming.
Okay, this is the most recent, right?
Yes, this is right off this week.
So he's actually feeding them, and
2, 3. They're little guys.
Why do you do that, Dieter?
Look at him going after the dog food. Yep, just pick it up.
This is not a good idea at all. Really, while we are showing this, we don't necessarily recommend this to our viewers.
Yeah, okay. Last time there must have been 10 up on his deck.
There was a whole ton. And I'll end with this before the video. This was a house that I saw on my walk. We've got Christmas decorations, we've got Halloween now, and we've got political signs in the yard. We're covered.
Wow.
And flamingos. I mean, really, that's great.
Nice. They should have that skeleton putting the wreath up. Much like they have right that setup in the yard puke. Much like that setup where Santa's kneeling next to baby Jesus in the manger, where worlds collide.
Yep.
It's a mess.
Mickey, Minnie, and Baby Yoda are all there at the birth of Christ.
Right.
Yeah, it's a beautiful,
That's
beautiful
the way it was.
Do I need to reload that already? I thought here in September we didn't need to put that into the StreamYard engine here.
Well, you never know, Alan. It's
the yard puke.
No, the baby Jesus.
Well, Flat Santa, I've kept in all along, but we had the Baby Yoda in the manger last year, and the at-ats guarding the wise men, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, we're not far, sadly, from that moment.
No, we're not.
Okay. Now the official report from Ryan here. Roll it.
Wisconsin, hey. Hey everyone, it's Ryan. I have a few updates this week from Wisconsin. Breaking news out of Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers finally gets a haircut. Well, that's what Packers Nation was excited about this week. Our quarterback finally looks like he used to, has a short haircut, and is ready to take us to the Super Bowl. But they did lose against the Vikings on Sunday. But needless to say, everybody's excited about his haircut, and many of the news outlets say he looks like Peaky Blinders. Not really sure who that was. I had to look up the picture of him. So I'll let you know how we do, but we're excited our old quarterback is back. Staying with the Green Bay theme, you don't often think of Green Bay and a Titanic survivor, but here at the GarrForce, we like to talk all things Titanic. I did a little research, and there is a Titanic survivor buried in Green Bay, Wisconsin. His name is William Edward Minahan. Him and his wife, Lillian, were on the Titanic coming back from Ireland after some vacationing over there for 6 months. Boy, that sounds like a good trip. Go to Ireland for 6 months and take this magnificent ship back. Well, we know what happened, but they ended up surviving because they were woken up in the middle of the night by a lady screaming, and they were able to get down and on to one of the lifeboats. So there's a little Titanic fact tying it back to Green Bay. I hope you have a great weekend, and maybe you can go to some pumpkin patches or do some corn mazes. That's on our list to do. Have a great weekend.
You said you're going to keep us posted on the Aaron Rodgers situation. It's the game of the week on NBC Sunday night, so I think everybody will know pretty much what's going on.
And it's available in all the counties in Wisconsin, even though that Senate bill hasn't gone through. But I think we can.
It's available to everybody in the country Sunday.
Yes.
It's the network game. It's the Packers. The Bears are in Green Bay.
Yes, they are.
But you can't see his hair with the helmet on. And then when he takes the helmet off, he's going to have helmet hair. So, yeah, I'm going to have to check out his hair online.
You'll have to check it out. It was all over. It was the buzz this week.
Does this take points off for you, Leslie, for the man?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
I'm still enamored, I think.
All right. Thank you, Ryan.
Yep.
So creepy, I know.
And Leslie, well, we have one sponsor yet to pay homage to, and that would be Bettenhausen. Alan, you want to run Bettenhausen?
The highway awaits at Bettenhausen Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Tinley Park. Right now, during Highway 93, get 0% for 36 months on a new 2022 Dodge Charger or Challenger. Lease a new 2022 Dodge Challenger or Charger. Your choice, only $359 per month. Get to Bettenhausen now and choose from the area's best selection. Share your adventure at hashtag Dodge HWY93. Your best Dodge buying experience starts now at BettenhausenCDJR.com.
And just a follow up to Roast to Order, when I mentioned, I thought this was the press. This is a canister to store coffee. And I kept trying to figure out, okay, if I put coffee in here, I plunge it down, how does it come out? No. And I'm going back and forth. And then finally I look around and I must have pushed it too far back in the cabinet. And then I see here's the,
there you go. He's got a press.
A press. It says right on the The front there,
It
coffee
says
press.
coffee
Yeah,
press.
this is what it is that you can drink out of. And I haven't used it yet, but I'm going to.
And we're going to have Mike back on pretty soon to talk about grinding coffee. We didn't get to dive into it too much on the show last week when we had him on, but he is very adamant about the proper grinding of coffee and suggestions that you don't just be willy-nilly about that sort of thing.
No,
There is a proper way to grind your coffee, and Mike knows all about it.
that's right. Damn it. All right. And see, George, check it in here. My friend George, he bought a truck, as I've been mentioning, from Bettenhausen and is thrilled with it.
Oh, yeah. What's not to love?
I
It was a
know.
great buying experience for
Yes.
us, and I got to tell you that wagon full of candy is a nice little perk in
When you
addition
walk
to all
in,
the friendly
right.
people who are there.
They've
It's
got
a
a
great
little
thing.
wagon full of, as you said, wagon full of candy right as you walk
Candy.
in. And your husband spent time by the licorice?
He kind of wiped out their Twizzlers for a
Yeah.
little bit, but
All right.
I'm sure they've restocked since.
Good, good. All right. You have a couple stories you mentioned that you were going to talk about.
Well, and
Before you do, Leslie, why don't you set up the contest?
Yeah, let's queue up. Let's
okay.
pull out something from the bag.
With that, okay,
Ooh.
so it's a kind of a combination of things we've had before, but of course there is always the wine condom, but we've got more Desert Storm collector's cards
Good.
and
Another
another
snake.
snake. Woohoo!
Nice. And that thing looks real. You put that on your passenger seat when you're not
Oh,
in the car, they're not going to
It's a
break
deterrent.
your window. They don't know if it's real or not. Look at, oh,
Oh, it's very
oh,
scary.
ooh. Okay, what should we put in the queue?
I'm still in an Alaska mood, so let's go with hashtag Alaska.
Okay, well, here, hashtag Alaska. That's what it is. Put that in the comment section, and then the computer will pick the winner at random in just a couple of minutes. Just hashtag Alaska. Hashtag Alaska.
There you go.
That's all you have to put in there right now. Okay?
So we talked about this on the teaser show, and that's the fact that actor Ryan Reynolds lost a bet, and it just might have saved his life. Ryan and his friend and business partner Rob McElhaney made a bet that if McElhaney could learn to speak Welsh, Mr. Reynolds would undergo a colonoscopy and capture it on video. It's a bet Reynolds lost because Mr. McElhaney apparently learned Welsh. So now there's video of Ryan Reynolds undergoing this colon screening. During the procedure, the doctor in charge, CBS's chief medical correspondent, Jonathan LaPook, it should be LaPoke, but anyway,
No, it's LaPook. I've seen him. I've seen him on other podcasts.
But it should be LaPoke because of what he does. But
Hey,
he discovered and removed a potentially dangerous polyp. The video shows LaPoke telling the still drowsy Ryan Reynolds, quote, "That was potentially life-saving for you. I'm not kidding. I'm not being overly dramatic." Reynolds and McElhaney are now using the video to hopefully influence other men 45 and older to undergo regular screenings.
and it's pronounced Pulip.
it's Pookie
Pulip.
Pulips.
Pulip.
So it goes without saying that King Charles III is not nearly as popular as his deceased mother. I don't think there's going to be a 24-hour queue to see his box, but
Ooh, Papa.
upon word that the king's likeness will soon replace his mom's on the Australian $5 note, folks down under began an earnest campaign to find someone other than His Majesty to grace their cash. The most popular choice right now? The late Steve Irwin. They call him a national treasure, far more deserving of recognition than the new king. Comedian Dame Edna is coming in a close second.
Oh, yes. Okay. Boy, 70 years this guy waits, and now it's just going to be a shitstorm
It's
through
shit.
the whole run, right? Either they want Dame Edna or Steve Irwin or his son. They want William
And it
to move up right now.
So, with that, speaking of King Charles, a British psychic who tells the future by reading asparagus shoots says the king will not remain on the throne for very long. Jemima Packington, the self proclaimed asparamancer, is predicting that Charles will step down next year and hand the reins over to Prince William. Jemima has a pretty good track record. I mean, as psychics go. She has successfully predicted the deaths of the Queen and her husband, Prince Philip, as well as Harry and Meghan's split with the royal family.
Her name is Jemima. And
Jemima.
What if she's your aunt?
What?
Is that
She's
politically
still
correct?
okay.
Huh?
Yeah,
And
she
what if-
can
what if-
still be Aunt Jemima.
And what if she's married to Ben?
Oh,
You have
boy.
Aunt
Now
Jemima and
it's
Uncle Ben?
complicated.
My
Oh,
God.
boy. Well, okay, and how much of a psychic do you have to be to go, yeah, you know, those 90-something-year-olds are going to die sometime
Yeah.
in the not too distant future.
Use that power for good. Play the lottery.
But when you're the asparamancer, I guess the asparagus is in charge, and you can only predict so much. Ain't that the
Is
shit?
that it?
I got one or two more if we got time here. We got a couple of minutes, so here we go. Catalytic converter thieves are bold to begin with, but the ones in San Francisco take the cake. They've been sawing the catalytic converters off marked police squads parked outside the department's Special Operations Bureau. The area is under surveillance video at all times, but somehow someone has gotten in and done their dirty work on a handful of police vehicles without anybody noticing. So far, no arrests have been made. An investigation, they say, is ongoing.
Civilization is not getting back in the bottle ever. And I'm just wondering how far out it's going to go because everything is just going completely crazy ass.
What was that? Where New York turns into a prison, and then golly, I forget the movie, but
When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Escape from New York.
Oh, there you go.
Would you like some
And that's true.
pecan pie? Okay, it's going to be like Fury Road. In about a year, we'll be going down the expressway, and you'll look in your rearview mirror, and guys on oscillating poles will be behind you, and then they're going to reach into your sunroof and pull your ass out.
You know what? At this point, that and the aliens landing and deciding that everybody line up, you're all going to get probed. None of this surprises us anymore, which is why your blog for the last week or so has been
turn off
the web.
Turn off the web telescope. Turn it off. Are you ready for some giveaway?
I think so. Hey, with that, but speaking of the web, last night I sat on the back deck and watched the International Space Station fly over. And I do have to say it's kind of fun to see our tax dollars actually...
when you get something like that out of it.
Yeah, and if nothing else, I found myself doing like when the helicopters would fly over our neighborhood when we were kids, and we'd all stand out there and wave because we thought maybe Bozo the Clown would see us or something.
Wow.
But, yeah.
How's that wine feeling? Pretty
It's
right?
feeling fabulous.
I'm waving to people at the International Space Station like they're Bozo.
Hello.
All right, we are ready to give away that condom and the snake and some cards. Hit it. But Marcia T. Ellen, tell her what she should do.
You should send a email to Gary Meyer Show at GaryMeyer.com, or you should text 773-888-2157 with your name and address. Or if you're also on Facebook, you can private message Gary with that information.
Yes, and we'll get this. Leslie will get that out to you. She pays for the postage.
It's
and
what I
everything.
do.
Yeah.
And with that, someone mentioned earlier that we should remind folks to please like and subscribe. If you are watching this on YouTube, and if you share it with friends, that would be super cool too. But please like and subscribe, because that's what's going to keep this thing going.
And
we'd
we're the GarrForce Live channel on YouTube. That's the key. GarrForce Live, all one word.
Okay.
There you go.
Wow. Here, I'll show an Alaska picture just to make it even more more memorable.
And then write it off. Show it to your accountant and get some write-off here, Alan. Come on.
I'm very proud of my Alaska pictures. They came out beautifully.
There it is. That's a write-off.
That is glacial.
That's the South Sawyer Glacier.
What's left of it?
Yeah. Well, and the South Sawyer Glacier is separate from the North Sawyer Glacier, but we did learn that they were once one.
Yeah.
And even more stark was the Mendenhall Glacier in Juneau, which this is still the South Sawyer Glacier in the Glacier Bay area. But the Mendenhall Glacier, there's a nature trail through there that I walked, and there were markers along the way showing you where the ice was in the early 1900s, in the mid 1900s, in the late 1900s, and then you get to the spot where it is today. And our guides then showed us a video of how it retreated over the last 10 years. And the retreat over the last 10 years is really quite remarkable.
That's a feel good when you're on vacation. Yeah. Hey, you're doomed, but enjoy.
But I mean, look at this scenery. I mean, you can't beat it. You got to go see it. Yeah, you got to go see it now while it's there.
It's like another planet. And these guys, hey, how about throwing a quarter my way? I'm gonna do some twerking for you.
And then up in Juneau, seeing up in Juneau, seeing the whales. We didn't actually see a full-fledged breach where they come up. The full torso comes up, but we saw plenty of these tails and amazing full moon. One of the last nights of the cruise. It was something to see.
All right. And that is it for this week. Thank you for watching. Back on Monday, it is time for that complimentary cannoli coming down the aisle. Please take it.
I got to switch to the cannoli view.
Switch to the
Where's the cannoli cam? Here's the cannoli cam.
Yeah, live.
There we go.
Look at that cannoli. What about the schnauzer, Leslie?
Why not take it on a cruise to Alaska and slide it down a glacier? That seems like it'd be fun.
Yeah. Because this is the home of the kissing schnauzer. 3 in the green, gear is down, flaps are down. The voice of the globe. Have a great weekend. We have landed.
Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
If you like that, I got other stuff I think you're going to like. This is the GarrForce.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And please tell your friends and family to like and subscribe too.
All right. Yeah.
More eyeballs. It's a good thing.
Boom. Shakalaka.